Forecast.
So in a given summer, we average about 13 90-degree days. In an average year, we average 15. So really just a couple 90-degree days outside of just the very specific summer season. So 15 for the year, the record 50 90-degree days set back in 1983. So far this year, 2. We've had 2. Now, this number will grow quite a bit. I mean, I don't know if we're going to get to 15, but we could get pretty close by the end of the month, perhaps. We already had 1 in May, 1 so far this month. And 90s in June, we actually typically only average 4, the record number 17 set back in 1934. So what we're talking about, this heat coming up, isn't unprecedented. It's happened before. It just doesn't happen often. In fact, it happens rarely. We've had 1 90-degree day so far this month, and the stretch we're looking at is likely going to be the hottest we've had in several years. The hourly forecast showing that temperatures dropping very steadily into the upper 60s by about midnight, into the upper 50s to low 60s by about 4 to 6 a.m. Let's talk about the heat dome, because that was centered across the desert Southwest. We were talking all about the major heat across much of Phoenix and Nevada. That's now shifting eastward. What they don't really have to deal with too much out in the desert Southwest is the humidity. So while temperatures are going to be cooler at the surface than they were out to the west, with the humidity involved, it's going to feel about the same. So the heat dome will continue to grow. Here we are Sunday as the high pressure system gets set up. So this is going to be a day that's still hot on Sunday, but the humidity won't quite be as bad. It's not going to be quite as muggy as it's likely going to be Monday into much of next week. Watch as that area of high pressure grows. Now, some forecast models have this area of high pressure a little farther east. What that would do with the clockwise nature of the system is bring up some Gulf moisture, and it could toss a few showers and storms our way. The plus there would be that it would keep temperatures just a little bit cooler during the day, maybe upper 80s to low 90s versus mid 90s. The majority of forecast models keep this area of high pressure centered, I would say like right around like Tennessee, Kentucky, maybe a little farther east. What that would do is keep more of the storms across the plains, and we would be centered under a much drier, hotter weather pattern. That is the kind of weather solution we are kind of latching onto at this point just because of the consensus. We can't rule out the possibility, though, that ridge of high pressure shifts a little farther east. Again, if that happens, we're looking at more daily chances for showers, storms, and slightly cooler temperatures. For our sakes, I kind of hope that happens because that will help kind of keep the heat down. Either way, it's going to get muggy and hot. It's just a matter of how hot it gets with that high pressure center. Temperatures will be into the low 80s by Saturday afternoon. Sunday afternoon, temperatures into the low 90s. And then by Monday afternoon, mid to upper 90s expected everywhere. There's not really going to be one place where you're going to be able to escape the heat. Now, the heat records, hottest temperature ever, 106. That's been accomplished actually quite a bit in our weather history. The longest 90-degree plus stretch, though, 22 days, June to mid-July of 2012. Many of you remember that year, of course, bringing the derecho in June of 2012. So again, not unprecedented. We've had this kind of heat before, just not common. 7-day forecast shows temperatures getting into the low 90s by Sunday, 96 on Monday with maybe a few isolated showers and storms, and temperatures stay more or less in the mid 90s through the rest of next week as a result of the high heat and humidity combined. We've issued several first alert weather days, Monday through Friday, as this will be very dangerous heat, particularly for those that are in factories, working outside without proper perhaps hydration or sun protection. This is going to be a fairly dangerous stretch of hot weather.
Okay, thank you, Matt. And coming up,